I'm not just a poet. I'm a person. I'm a poem, rather, consisting of 1,000 little letters and words, held together by the mere fact of my existence. And this tense is illusionary, because it is the present, and who am I to make statements rather than to dream? And it seems like we forgot how to do that sometimes. And I always had a special interest in the life of others, and the fact that this rhymes is just a coincidence, and so was my birth. And so was yours. My heart is a typewriter, punching one letter at a second, sending messages and unheard quotes through my bloodstream. I'm still about to stumble upon in lonely nights with nothing but myself and a pen and paper. And later, the typewriter at times will miss a beat because its color ribbon had to be replaced because a love has faded like the intensity of ink. And I think that it is the same with everything you get used to sometimes. But I will never get tired of this world. My mom gave birth to me at 2.5 months early because I, 12 inches tall and by 24 ounces, very fragile and small, could not wait to see what life had in store for me. 28 years later, I see that the stores I was hoping to find back then are sometimes locked, like the Become What You Want store or the Be Who You Are store, and the Say What You Want store has very limited opening hours in some places, I was told recently. But my built-in typewriter still finds words for expressing all this madness, these contradictions and wonders we call life. My words began to walk the moment I could talk, and I could talk fast, so my parents had trouble catching up with me at times. And while my mother tried to teach me how to set one foot in front of another, my mind was competing in a freaking marathon, sucking in each impression of new sound, new colors, and new faces. And it still races today. Not so fast, but still at a good speed, and the need for sensing the world around me in all its parts is still there. And sometimes this is easier said than done. Paper is patient, the German saying goes, and people say a lot they don't mean, and I don't mean to be mean, but this world is so crazy and cruel, it's hard to see the good in all these bad places. So sometimes my shoelaces are untied on purpose, so I can fall flat on my face in order to get a new perspective. At 13, my mom told me, "You're lucky that you haven't lost your eyesight at birth, so promise me to never walk through this world turning a blind eye." And I think it's the only promise I ever kept. So I look around and write stories on my built-in writing machine. And my biggest hope is that the letters L-O-V-E never break, so I still will have something to send out to the world, even if there's nothing else left to write. And whenever you feel pessimistic, please remember that you can either turn and walk away, but you can also turn tables or work the turntables till there's music you can dance to. So change the station, change the rhythm. I know it's hard to change something you've gotten so used to, like breathing. It's so hard stopping it. But why would I want to? So I look closely at the world, and the letters L-O-V-E on my typewriter are a bit worn out. My other choice would have been R-E-S-P-E-C-T, but that was coined by Aretha Franklin, and I don't want to be called a rip-off. So call me an optimistic instead. Call me a dreamer. Call me a naive fool. Whatever you say is what I do not wish to be, for I'm only certain of two things. I do love life, and I do love its poetry. Dankeschön.